Let's talk a little bit about work. Let's talk about stress at work. Let's talk about maybe how it's taking, well, time off of your life. Joining us to talk about it, workplace culture expert, Daren Martin. Daren, thanks for being on the Wake Up Call. What do you have to do to become a workplace culture expert?
Well, you have to you log thousands of hours of conversations with people at different companies. So that's I kind of did it the hard way.
Okay, so when you say did it the hard way, does this mean that you basically worked and lived in, say, a toxic work environment?
No. I have a PhD in psychology. I've been doing the consulting gig for a while, and I go in and out of companies and talk to everybody from the CEO all the way down to, the newly hired or the 2-week intern. Mm-hmm. And consistently what I find is that the way the company operates, the way they set up their company culture, goes a long way towards determining whether people are in their car right now driving to work going, hey, I can't wait to get there, or they're already counting the hours before they leave. And this recent research from Stanford and Harvard says that not only is it just a negative impact on people in their lives, but it can actually take years off their life, up to 30 years off someone's life.
All right. Question. Since you've been, as you've said, logged thousands of hours dealing with this, have talked to the new employees, have talked to the CEOs and stuff, I would imagine along the way you have been able to put together something that would say, all right, if these 3 or 4 situations or things are there or present, chances are you've got a pretty dysfunctional workplace. What would maybe those warning signs, if you will, of, suckage ahead, what would they be?
Okay, so I actually just put out a book called A Company of Owners, but one coming behind that is called Beached Whale. And one of the indicators
nice.
You're going to love that one, but one of the indicators that you might be a beached whale company is if you walk around and there are Dilbert cartoons on every cubicle. I've actually been in places like that. And, when people are posting Dilbert cartoons outside their door, they're trying to tell you something. They're saying this is not a fun place to work. But, it's the air you breathe. You can almost sense it when you walk into a company or when people walk in the halls, you say, hey, how's it going? They go, living the dream, Generally, when people say living the dream, they don't mean that in a positive light. They mean that, hey, life sucks and I hate coming to work every day. But, there are a lot of dysfunctional companies out there. And the sad part is they don't have to be that way.
All right. Well, the Dilbert cartoons, hearing living the dream a lot, are there any other things that are maybe a little more, a little more serious than just Dilbert cartoons and hearing living the dream as you're walking down the hallway?
Look at your turnover rate. Look how quickly people are exiting your company, and particularly look for this. If it's really high performers that are not sticking and lasting, that means you've built a culture of mediocrity, and those folks just are not going to hang around. There's nothing like a little internal survey. One of the first things I do when I go into a company is we survey, just to get, the truth. Every company has 2 cultures. They have the stated culture. That's the one you read on the wall when you walk in. And then the hidden culture, and that's what's really going on. And if you want to find out what's really going on, you just have to ask. But when you ask, then you have to listen. And that's a lot of times I find, people are asking, then they're going, no, that's not really true. That's not really the way things are. So people will tell you if they're in a dysfunctional company. They'll map it out for you. But unfortunately, a lot of leadership at times I've discovered are a little hesitant to hear the bad news.
I don't know if this is even a fair question, but what the heck? If you were to just take a wild guess of all the different companies that are out there that have more than 1 or 2 employees, how many of them would you say are unhappy workplaces? Percentage-wise,
I actually don't have to take a wild guess because a study that was done a few years back indicated that the average engagement at your typical U.S. company is 29% employee engagement. That means only a third of the workforce is engaged. Well, either we've hired all the wrong people, and sometimes that's the case. You've not hired some of the right people. As Colin says, get the right people on the bus. But that can't amount for that low a percentage of engagement. And so, I would say that there's a big chunk of companies within the U.S., large and small, that are really disincentivizing their people to come to work, to show up, to be engaged, to act like owners. I mean, that's, yeah, please.
Okay, so Daren, then, if that percentage is really that high of, lousy workplaces, it would almost lead one to believe that those that either own or run those workplaces really don't care.
A lot of times I don't find that to be the case. There are certainly companies like that. I just think that they're a little clueless as to what the reality is, or they don't. I told the CEO of a company one time, and another guy was standing there. I said, "You want all high performers?" And he said, "Well, of course you want all high performers." I said that to another person. He said, "Oh, you're never going to get that." So I think a lot of times people are drinking the Kool-Aid of just, "Hey, this is as good as it gets." And that's just not true. There are companies that are setting the bar, that are shining out there. The Netflixes, I just made that a plural, but Netflix, Chick-fil-A, Google, all sorts, from technology down to fast food, who are setting the bar and who have a really high. Ford was really in trouble back in the day, but they have one of the highest employee satisfaction rates. I know this because I got to introduce Alan Malawi last week, the guy who turned Ford around. Their engagement and their employee satisfaction is one of the highest in the country. Well, it's the same company. Clearly, they've done something different over the course of the last 10 years.
All right. Hey, Daren, pleasure talking to you. If folks want to find out more about kind of what you do, give a quick website and where they can get information about your books.
I'm easy to find, Daren, D-A-R-E-N, Martin, DarenMartin.com. Or if you just put Daren Martin into Amazon, it'll take you straight to it. Just spell it with one R and an E, and you're good to go.
All right. Daren, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. Have a great day.
Hey, thank you so much. You too.
All right. Take care. It is 7:55 KPNW.